Good afternoon. I know that all of you have come today knowing that I wouldn't be up here, but I hate to tell you, I am. So, welcome everyone, and welcome all our guests today. This is always an exciting time for the club when you introduce a new president, and in this case, even more exciting when you get rid of the old one. So, and for our invocation today, we have Rosie Rifa, and Rosie has been involved with the club for a long time. She sang at Rotary Ski Day, and you'll remember that she also helped and added music to our Rotary bell ringing at Christmas time. So, Rosie.
Bless our friends, bless our food. Come, dear Lord, and sit with us. Rotary family and our guests, we are happy to greet you. Friendship and love, may they bloom and grow forever. Bless our friends, bless our food, bless our worthy endeavors.
Absolutely terrific, and definitely a step above when Christopher Plummer sang that tune. We are doing things out of order today, and I think you could probably sit at the moment. We'll doing some things a little bit differently. And we're going to start off, in fact, with increasing the Rotary pocketbook with none other than Sheriff Udall, who is somewhere here. There he is. He took his hat off, so I couldn't find him. You know, he's so unremarkable when he doesn't wear his hat. So.
Thanks, John. Maybe it will be good to have you gone. Anyway, okay, so now I will tell you, I'm going to control my own PowerPoint today, and Carolyn has promised me this is going to work, although for some reason the back button is not the forward button. Okay, that seems odd. It's designed to screw me up. Hopefully that's not going to describe President Fairbrook's presidency. But here we go. And today is President Fairbrook's Day. It's all about Rick. So, the focus of my presentation today is going to be... Oh, no. Carolyn, our relationship's going to suffer. Oh, whoa. There you go. This is your life. Now, Rick is old enough to understand that reference. The old TV show. This is your life. All right. It's kind of hard to do it on someone who's fairly advanced in age like myself, Rick, but I managed to put it all together anyway. All right, so here we go. Okay, wait. You were wrong. Ford is Ford. All right, so starting off, our president was raised right here in Yakima, and he lived in 11 houses in 22 years. I can imagine that, 22 years. That's a lot of moving, Rick, I got to say. So... Oh, we'll get to that. So, here's a rare color photo. I had to colorize this photo. This is I had to scrounge the internet to find this photo. Here it is. That is Rick as a young child. Now, I couldn't really understand why he looked like that, except maybe he had an inkling that, yeah, he was going to be in 11 houses the next 22 years. If you lived in fewer houses than President Rick, pay $1. Here we go. And the fun starts. Now look at this little guy. 3 years old, toddler Rick. Huh? Now here's a little known fact about 3-year-old Rick. He was the runner-up as Yakima Toddler of the Year in 1952. Now I don't know what the winner looked like, but I got to say that he's a pretty cute kid. Now, I might have made that up, but if you think he should have been Toddler of the Year, go ahead and pay $1. Now, here we are, 11 years old. He's about to enter Wilson Junior High. And I really don't have anything funny to say about this, except everyone at some time in their life should have a picture of themselves at this age in a public forum. And you know what, Rick? You look pretty good. 13-year-old Rick with his family. You can see he's in the back row. He's just as tall as his dad at 13. Great-looking family. Rick's dad, John, was also a Rotary president. And I think if you didn't know that, because Carolyn put that in an email today, if you didn't know that, pay $1. In high school, Rick was described as popular, athletic, outgoing, musical. Jeez. Your mom. Okay. While at Ike, he sang a lead part in Funny Girl and was an award-winning group, Concord Singers. Is that true? Yes, it is. Okay, so let's look and see what high school Rick looked like. Look at that, huh? Graduated 1967, so that kind of gives you when his birthday was. If you graduated after 1967, pay $1. Should be a fair amount of us. There we go. So he went to Willamette University many, many years ago, graduated with a degree in history. Now, my favorite part about his history at Willamette U was that he was in a fraternity, the Delta Tau Delta. So once again, I had to use my vast investigative skills to find a photo of Rick and his fraternity. There it is. Now, I looked at that and I thought, oh, come on, President Rick ought to live in a better house than that. Oh, yeah. So, in case you thought, oh, no, that can't be Rick's house. No, I did a forensic exam. There he is. Okay. That is it. Now, what was the name of the movie that previous photo was taken from? And rumor was based loosely on President Rick's life. What's the name of that movie? Animal House. All right, that should be an easy one. If you don't know that one, that's $1. Okay, Animal House, the documentary. But look at this photo. Rick, the college student in 1970. Holy moly, looks like he's on his way to a movie audition. Nice photo, there you go. I love it. Rick's first job in 1973. There he is, just a couple of years, 3 years later. Was he a fighter pilot? School teacher, Fred Myers, or a sideburns model? Which one was he? Freddy's? Okay, believable. I'm still kind of going with the sideburns model, but it is Fred Myers. There you go. And if you think he should have been a sideburns model, that's $1 right there. Easy. I mean, light up the dollars. Okay. Within a few years, Rick became a realtor. What is the name of the local agency Rick is associated with? And this is Rick's career. Most of us know Rick is a realtor. This should be a very, very easy one. Was it Berkshire Hathaway, John L. Scott, L.B. Andrews Company, or Keller Williams? Okay, the easy answer is John L. Scott. However, what's the name of the company that his dad was involved with that Rick bought from and started his career? L.B. Andrews. All right. But you know, seriously, Rick is a guy all about his community. And over the last several decades, he has volunteered so much to our community. Here's just a few of the things that he's done. Wellness House, the YMCA, the Salvation Army, all of these things he has put back into his community. And now he's going to be all ours for the next year. And he's been a Rotary member since 1982. Right on. That's a significant amount of time. I was in my own fraternity at that point at WSU. Sort of like the first one. And I will say I can't really talk about what happened to the fraternity, but statute of limitations is a wonderful thing. There we go. But his family is everything. And there is his wife, Gay. She's holding proudly the marriage certificate. Rumor is, Rick, that she made several copies of that and put them all over the house. Is that true? I see you're looking at it right now. He has 2 daughters, and one received a Rotary scholarship and traveled to France? Exchange student. Yeah, so the Rotary roots go deep, and he and his wife done a tremendous amount of traveling. I kind of like the one, Budapest to Bucharest, a cruise. That sounds exotic. That's always good. With 3 grandkids and 1 on the way. There we look at that guy right there. And I really like the nose hold that was on him in that picture right there. But they definitely got a thing for Grandpa. Yes, they do. So welcome, President Rick Fairbrook. And I think, in honor of him, his very first meeting as president, all of us need to give $1 to set this thing off straight. I'm doing 5. So here we are. Congratulations, President Fairbrook, and good luck on a successful year. All right, thanks, everybody.
Absolutely great job, Bob. And now you know what you're getting. So, sounds good. For our introduction of our speaker today, who's going to be a real surprise, we have speaker introducer Brad Hansen.
President John, future President Rick, or President Rick today, until you stand up here, Rotarians and guests. If you were sitting over here, you saw me toss all of my papers on the ground because I think 95% of what I was going to talk about was just covered in a very much more hilarious way than I was going to ever say it. I thought a lot about this, and I was humbled that you asked me to introduce you, Rick. I came up with 3 topics: history, talents, and time. And so a lot of the history, hilariously, was shown by, like, your screaming baby photo looked eerily similar to your grandfather photo. Like, that face, like, they looked great. A couple of things you missed. I think we all know that Rick comes from an incredible legacy family here in the Yakima Valley. His family began their adventure in the Yakima and built their legacy on Piety Flats in the 1860s. And you mentioned that his father was a Rotary president. He follows a legacy of very few families. We have the Wagners, the Millers, the Riches, the Marbles, the Pinnells, and now the Fairbrooks have a legacy, a generational legacy of having presidents at this podium. I'm going to skip everything else I was going to talk about history because you already heard it, and go to talents. Rick's a man of many talents. I remember when I heard that Rick played linebacker for Eisenhower, I looked him up and down and went, that just doesn't jive in my head. But sure enough, along with being able to play his guitar that he bought as what, a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old, he might have played it last night. He's still got his 55-year-old guitar that he plays at home in the evenings. He likes to gardenize. And that's what he said. That's what he calls his landscaping work at his house. And also, I had to laugh. Gay loves to take photos, so he just says, "I'm a photography chauffeur in my spare time. I just drive her around, and we take photos. She takes photos of wherever, and she tells me to go here, and she tells me to go there. And by Jove, I've sat at that table for about 25 minutes, and she tells him what to do. It's going to be really useful for us. It's going to be great." We talked about the grandkids. While they get to come here occasionally, it gives him an excuse to get to Portland and to Washington, D.C., one of my favorite cities in America. Not for the political reasons. Not for the political reasons. Wonderful city. And then I wanted to talk lastly about time. I've known Rick, I think I look in this room longer than any of you. Well, I met him first is what I'm trying to say. When I moved to town about 10 years ago, I called the man I started working with and said, I know nothing about Yakima and I don't know where I'm going to live. And he said, let me call you back. And about 15 minutes later, he said, I got a number for you. I'm going to call a guy named Rick Fairbrook. He's going to help you out. And so Rick, helped me find my first apartment as a young man with my wife and 2 tiny children, and has got to watch them grow up. He's helped me with my first home. He's helped me with my second home. I think he actually found the second home so far away from the valley that he could not have to see me very often. I blame that on him, not on me. But he's given me a lot of his time. He's always willing to talk. And if you look at his history of, what are we on, 41 years since you moved back in 81? His commitment to our community is unparalleled. The fact that I can do this sort of off the cuff and have 4 pages of notes about his service to the Yakima Valley. He served as the president of the Yakima Multiple Listing Service twice. We saw that he was the president of the board of the YMCA, which he's been a member since 1981. And his service to our club, I'm actually going to take a minute and read this. Let's talk about committees that Rick has chaired. He's chaired the Academic Scholarship Committee twice, the Allocation and Review Committee, the Community Service Committee, the Environment Committee, the Fellowship and Fireside Committee, the Foundation Awards Committee. No, Carolyn, don't cut me off. I'm still going on this list. The Interact Committee, twice the Invocation Committee, the Handicapped Committee, the Membership Development Committee, the Membership Retention Committee. He's got a 6-pack of music committee chairs that carries around with him. Operation Harvest, Rotary Education, Rotary Information, the Social Committee, Special Member Recognition Unsung Hero, Sports, Vocational Scholarship. You were crazy enough to do Ways and Means twice. I was surprised it wasn't both Rotary auction years, but he chaired Ways and Means in 2014 as an auction co-chair, and Youth Service. So I'm going to end with this. Time, it's Rick's time. And I think we should all say, Rick, it's going to be a great year. He's a little nervous. He's been a little twitchy down here. So I think we should stand and give him a round of applause and thank him for doing this year. Welcome your next Rotary president, President Rick Fairbrook.
And as a last official duty, I get to present him with the Rotary Presidential Lapel Pin, which he swore I should not try to pin on him. So the last time I tried to do this on somebody, I said, I'll try to pin this on, and it turned out it was a magnetic pin. So here you go. Hey.
Wow. Well, first of all, let's open this up and see if there's anything in it. There is. There's a rotary pin, and it looks like it has something glittering in it. And they say that it might be a diamond. Okay. Carolyn goes, yeah. Well, thank you very much. Wow. Boy, there's enough material that just got shown on the screen and by a couple of speakers to talk about the truth and the falseness of those comments, but I will try to stick to my remarks here. And when I walked in here today and I came up to the podium and I tried out the microphone, I dropped my folder here, which had all my remarks in order. And then they dropped onto the floor in disorder. So I'm not sure what order we're going to be in, but I'm going to start off with what I have here. So my first act as Rotary President is to introduce our music today. And I chose the song Imagine by John Lennon, mainly because it's a great song. It's a song that makes you think. But it's also associated with our new International Rotary President, Jennifer Jones. It's part of her theme, and her theme is Imagine Rotary, with the challenge to think differently. She is a very energetic person, a dynamic leader, and described by many as a Rotary rock star. I don't know that we've had a Rotary rock star before, but I guess we have one this year, and I believe it. And if you want to read more about her, if you've got a Rotary magazine, a Rotarian magazine, she is the subject of the current magazine. So, Carolyn? I got chills. I get chills easily, I guess. But that song was a beautiful song, and performed by young children makes it even more special, I think. But keeping with the Imagine theme, we have our own Imagine Rotary Study Group forming, led by past President Kelly Connaughton and President-elect Aaron Black, to look at our club going forward and see how we can also think differently. So I want to thank them for leading this, and you'll hear more about it as we go forward. At times this year, I will try to incorporate national day, week, and month themes into our meetings. Today, it seems appropriate that it is National. Now, are you listening, Bob Udell? And Brad? Today, it seems appropriate that it is National Tell the Truth Day. So, I just don't understand. Well, first of all, shouldn't every day be Tell the Truth Day, right? So why is it that National Tell the Truth Day is the day that I'm speaking? I don't know. I think it's applied more to Brad and Bob. So I thought I was going to be safe from finding myself in this position. Been a member for 42 years. Thought I'd outgrown the candidate pool, but apparently not. So let me describe how I got here. Typically, the board meets in January over dinner to select the next president. Once a decision is made, the board members go to the candidate's house for a surprise announcement with the hope that they will be invited in for beverages, snacks, or whatever is available to pillage. I've heard that sometimes they arrive a little late and find the future president in pajamas. I thought I saw Eric here, but I don't think he was in his pajamas. There he is. Eric's. In my case, I was holed up and hiding in a primitive cabin deep in the woods of Central Oregon. Okay, is that the truth? Oh, no, not quite. It was a very comfortable home in Bend, Oregon. I was sitting comfortably in an overstuffed chair with my 3-year-old grandson tucked in close behind me, or next to me, snuggled in nice and tight. I was relaxing and feeling carefree. And then, suddenly I felt my phone vibrating. I looked at the screen. It was a FaceTime call, and I didn't see any faces. I saw apparitions and strange voices. And then it looked like they were at my house. And I thought, what's going on? I got to call the police. Well, then the soothing voice and face of Jennifer Bleasner appeared on the screen. And I'm thinking, what is she doing at my house? And I'm panicking a little bit. But it was, and I knew it was too late for caroling, and it was way after dinner time, so, well, it didn't take long for them to pop the question, ask me if I would like to be, or I would accept the nomination to be Rotary's next president. I looked at my three-year-old Asher, snuggled next to me, relaxed, and I thought, the next year and a half is not going to be this relaxing. And I said yes anyway, and so here I am today. Brad and I think Bob have mentioned a little bit about my Rotary history. Actually, a lot more history than I realized, Brad. So, as noted in the recent tutor, my Rotary story begins in 1956, when my father, John Fairbrook, joined Rotary, and in some ways, I feel like a bridge from a 37-year-old club to a now 103-year-old club. There have been a lot of changes. I remember picnics at Sportsman State Park and Eshbaugh Park when Eshba was open. And social events like Christmas, soapbox derbies. Rotary had soapbox derbies on 19th Avenue, just east of Franklin Middle School. And Rotary, I think, sponsored that event. I was there watching as my dad was participating with organizing it. And I went on a week-long student exchange to Revelstoke, British Columbia. So I thought, hey, I'm a foreign exchange student from Rotary. Yes. There's already been a plug for Rotary Student Exchange Program. It was mentioned that my daughter Sarah went to France as a Rotary Exchange student, and it was a life-changing experience for her. She learned a new language and added a new family whom she visited with just a few months ago in France. So that connection is still there, and I've heard about that connection from many other students who've gone abroad and our students who have gone abroad. Yeah, our students who've gone abroad and stay in touch for the rest of their lives. So that's my plug. John Fairbrook became Rotary's president in 1980, and Brad mentioned that there are 9 pairs of father-son presidents, but he didn't say how many years between those presidents. So I'm going to go with the fastest, Bill Rich to Doug Rich, 7 years. You'd think like Doug would have been much younger when he became president, but I think what's most important is who had the longest span between. Well, my dad and I took the longest, 42 years, to make this happen. So Doug, I don't know if you're here, but we beat you 42-7. I'm not sure it's a victory, but I'll take it as a win. There is something missing from this list of 9 pairs, which has now become a real possibility. Mother-daughter, mother-son, father-daughter, combinations in the future. I didn't see Lisa Moat here today, but I have seen her numerous times with her daughter. I thought, wow, she's being introduced to Rotary at a very young age, and Lisa told me that her daughter has asked to come to our meetings, so there might be a combination there in the future. And by the way, I encourage everyone to invite their daughters and sons to Rotary. It's a great way to extend our reach and teach the next generation about community service. And kind of in the same vein, I remember a particular telephone call that I received in the summer of 1989 when I was in hot, humid Seneca, Illinois, a small little town where my father-in-law lived and my family and I were visiting. And out of the blue, I got a phone call from then President Bill Douglas. And I didn't see Bill here today, but there is some significance about that phone call. I don't know how he tracked me down. I didn't have a cell phone. So how did he find out? Well, probably through my dad, I guess. He called to ask if I would share my Rotary real estate agency classification with the owner of Heritage Brokers. It wasn't Marie Makita. No. Well, and I'll just digress a little bit. Back then, when you had a Rotary classification, it was yours. Yeah, you didn't, you had your own individual classification. And that's not true anymore, obviously. But at that time, that was the case. So Bill was asking if I would share my Rotary real estate agency classification with the owner of Heritage Brokers, who was going to become a new member. And that new member happened to be Muff Rouse, the first woman to join Yakima Rotary. So that year was the beginning of a momentous change, creating the pathway for Rotary to select Jennifer Jones as Rotary International's president this year. So thank you, Bill, for leading that charge. I know you're not here today, but tell him thanks, ladies. I've spent 18 months preparing for today. It does take a while, Aaron. And the one thing that I'm most impressed with is how often I've heard the word yes. It is the sweetest word to hear. Right, Rotary presidents out there? I think you'll agree. The first task Carolyn advised me to complete was the selection of 39 committee chairs. I didn't even know we had that many. 39. And one of them was for the auction, and that's a big deal. Very daunting task to be given. And I had no idea what kind of responses I was going to expect or what to expect. I said to myself as I was hesitating, I said, just pick up the phone and dial, which I did. And then I became so impressed with the members I called. There were so many who answered yes. Well, some with a little hesitation, but yes. And others, it was yes. And I go, whoa, that is so inspiring. And it energized me. It still energizes me. So I would like to ask if there are any committee chairs for my year here today. Would you stand up and let us give you some applause for being the fuel for this club. So you fuel our success, believe me. By the way, I've asked the committee chairs to contact all of their, see, this is a little reminder too here, to contact all of your committee members by personal phone call to welcome them to your committee and maybe give them a little background on what the committee does if they're not familiar with it. I don't know if all the committee information has been sent out to everyone, and if you haven't received it yet, it will be available soon. And if a month goes by and you haven't heard from anybody, but you know what committee you're on, call the chair. Aha. And you have my permission to do that. Maybe not the chairs, but you have mine. I just believe the initial personal contact is so important. You know, we're a large club, and it's easy to distance ourselves from each other. And I am going to emphasize that personal contact. But right now, I'd like to talk about three members of our club who are here today who deserve some attention and some thanks. Eric Silvers organized the greatest party ever. And then the party ended. And we had to pivot to a physically engaged club, to one that viewed each other through Zoom. And he made that transition very quickly with the help of a few people, Carolyn, Dwayne, Lorna. Then Jennifer Bleasner had Rotarians going places. And then they weren't. And then John Ball announced optimistically, of course he's always optimistic, that it was a brand new day. But at times it appeared that we might have to go back to yesterday. So these three presidents, along with Carolyn, Lorna, Dwayne, Monick, weathered the COVID storm and kept this club functioning. And I'd like them to stand, and I'd like to thank them with a round of applause. Dwayne's not here, but when you see him, thank you. Oh, Dwayne, where? Where? Oh, you're way back there. Thank you, Dwayne. So during these last 3 years, meeting attendance decreased and routines changed. And what was regularly attended events slipped off our calendar. By many of us, yes. My personal morning routine changed, and I've yet to return to it. But if someone from that routine reached out to me today, tomorrow, soon, to invite me back, I might try to return. And I think many in our club need a reason to change back. I will admit, I need a personal attachment. I need an invitation. I believe that as a service club, we need to personalize our efforts, and you're going to hear that over and over, sorry. A personal phone call makes the difference between participation and separation. It has such a positive effect, and I have experienced it. Texts and emails often are impersonal and informational, but they're quick, easy, and efficient, and I use them like everybody else. But I understand that a personal conversation is a connection. And we need to personalize and reconnect with our members to keep us engaged. So let's get to know each other. Maybe a good start today. Before you send an email or a text, ask yourself if a short personal call might have more impact. Leave a voicemail if you don't connect. That's second best. But this is what I call a part of member care, and we need to take care of our membership. We need to re-engage. We need to reach out. We need to be personal. And I think it's going to help with our retention and attraction of new members. But speaking of attraction, Rotary International membership is growing, but the increases come from the international side of the club. Membership in the United States has been static. But based on our own club's annual attrition, new members based on our own club's annual attrition, new members that come in, and Rotary's suggested 5% growth target, we will need to attract 33 new members this next year. And I'm waiting for Eric to say, why not 100? Because that was a centennial year and that was his goal. He set it high. Well, yeah. But I say, let's get 33, and then we can shoot for the moon. So let's apply the attitude of personalized member care to improve our member retention while energetically seeking new members from all parts of our community, knowing that they will be welcomed. If we personalize more, it will lead us to socialize more, which will energize our club to have a greater impact in our community and beyond. So, we get a chance to practice it. Some of you have already done this. I see a smile, or maybe a smirk here and there. It's something I call the 1-minute Rotary personal interview. This is how it works. Each table, look around your table, find somebody who has a pen, and unfortunately I forgot to put a piece of paper down there, but there are things you can write on. I don't think Dana will mind if we use her postcard, but somebody with a pen, determine who is going to write for the group, for that table. And you're going to ask who the newest member, most recent member to the club is, and then try to find out as many bits of information about that person in the 1 Rotary minute. Now, I said Rotary minute. Rotary minute can be short, it can be long. I get to determine that. So, you have 10 seconds now. I guess you've chosen your scribe, finding your new member. Ask away.
No, he'll interject it once in a while. That work retreat, it was cool, and we did it. He made him do it at the chair meeting.
Yeah, I was there too. And I had Bob and Dale.
30 seconds. Dun, 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, time up. Time up. Okay, Carolyn, will you locate the first table to have a report from the scribe about their newest member, most recent member? Right there, go ahead.
So you want to? You're pushing them off? Yeah. Okay. Right here. Who's talking? Okay.
So our newest member is Jack John Bloxham. And, he's been a member for 63 years. His dad was a member. His uncle was president of this club. He's been in the food industry since before he was born. and he's just an overall great guy.
We'll accept that change to the rules. Thank you. Okay, Lorna, pick a table. Oh, looks like you got volunteers right there.
Okay, our newest member is Drew Harris, although Mr. Harrison over here is 2 years with a red badge, so get that off. Now,
Sergeant of Arms, note that.
Okay, Drew drives a Range Rover. He's a real estate agent. He has a new baby. Went to Ike. His favorite color is green. He loves soul food. On the board of Rod's house. Not married. Graduated in 07. And he loves cookie dough ice cream.
All right, thank you.
Drew
We
Harris.
got time for one more. Carolyn, would you locate another table?
Okay, how about right here? Who's talking? Okay, all right.
Introduce yourself, please.
Selena Sanchez
Thank
with the AGC of Washington. Our newest member is Monica. She will be introduced next week, actually.
We'll accept that bending of the rules too, yes.
It's on the calendar. She worked for BBSI. She worked for the Memorial Foundation, for YCDA, and SESTA. Many of you know her from there. And she's married. She has 4 dogs, shepherds, and a Frenchie.
Fantastic. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed that little moment of what I would call ESP, energizing, socializing, and personalizing. So what I'd like to do is build on this energy in your at your table to have a larger gathering, one I would like to call the Rotary Reunion. And we don't have a program scheduled for August 11th. Right now, Rotary Reunion is penciled in there. And I'd like to invite all members, set up Rotary classes by year of joining, maybe, assign class presidents, play period, music, notable events, clothing, sergeant of arms for each class, whatever. Nothing's finalized yet, just ideas, and those are mine. But I welcome other ideas and would welcome anybody who might be interested in putting this together. You know, the idea is to bring as many of us together. I'd like to fill in the biggest room in this convention center and, you know, bring half again the number of people we have here. And I thought maybe a Rotary reunion would do that. So that's my idea. You'll hopefully get more information. And I'm going to go out really out on a limb here, but I pledge to call every member and invite them, because I think it's that important that we reach out and invite members back to join us. And maybe this event might do it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about public image and kind of getting the word out that we exist. And I think a lot of people know about Rotary in Yakima, and I think they have a favorable impression. But one thing kind of bothered me when I was working the new Greenway Playground pathway on Rotary Workday at the end of April this year. I was picking up garbage. That was kind of what we were doing. I was by the playground, but we had Rotarians at the Rotary Lake, and then at the East Yakima entry sign, all working that day. And I was picking up trash, and a lady came by and said, "Oh, thank you for doing that." I said, "Well, yeah, happy to do it." And I thought, well, you know, she doesn't have a clue that this is Rotary out here. There was no identification. I mean, that's crazy. We're out doing good works in the community, and there's no way for people to know that we're doing it. And I drove out to Rotary Lake. Of course, I think Bob was in charge there, and they finished up and they were out of there. So, good job. But the crew at the East Yakima Avenue entry were still working. No sign, just people out there working. But they were Rotarians, and we need to make people in the community aware that we are Rotary at work. So we have some A-boards to use. And I suggest maybe we use them for scholarship dinners at the host homes. You know, it'll help us to find their house. We're going there for dinner. Oh, it must be there. So why not? Rotary Ski Day, most of the time, drive right on by that driveway up to the Schultz cabin, God, where's the sign, The auction, obviously. Scholarship interviews even. If we're interviewing, whether it's here, or the YVC, or wherever it is, we have a sign there. We're at work. And here at the convention center, whenever we gather, have the signs out. Now we'll have to work on the logistics, but we have the signs now. So we need to use them because we need to spread the word that our Rotary clubs at work in the community. So I, as president, get the opportunity to select a club project. And that project is being planned right now. It's a 3-club project with the help from the Rotary Trust to provide outdoor lighting projects in conjunction with the city of Yakima. Kiwanis Park and Chesterley Park skateboard parks are popular during the day, but activity can change when the sun goes down, just about any place in town. So adding lighting will extend the popular use and provide safety and security, which the Yakima Police Department supports. And there may be enough funding, cross our fingers, to add other areas to receive outdoor lighting. We are continuing discussions. It's not in concrete, set in concrete, and if you're working with the city, sometimes you know that things don't always go the way you want them to, but we're hoping that it'll be otherwise. So, other discussions about lighting in downtown Yakima that are kind of exciting to hear about, and I think with more light, more utility, greater safety, greater security. A quick rundown of upcoming events. We're a busy club. Lots of things going on. I'll try to go through them quickly. Rotary Trust Celebration. On your table, there's a postcard that came from Dana Dwinell. She put that together. And it talks about the Rotary Trust celebration event on July 21st, 4:30 at YVC Event Center, out in their courtyard. So they'll have beverages and I think some hors d'oeuvres. And it's a Raise the Paddle event. The proceeds from the fundraiser and the golf tournament, I'm going to read this, they're matched by Molly Davis funds at Community Foundation, and these funds are what the trust has available to give out to our projects. Marketplace, possibly our project, our lighting project, involves the trust. The funds for those projects, for the trust, come from this event. So consider going. Should be fun. 3-club event. See Rotarians you haven't seen because they hide out in different clubs. Excuse me. I turned the page much too quickly. So August 11th, Rotary Reunion. Planning to do that. September 1st is our Rotary picnic with a little twist this year, hopefully. The pickleball courts are at Franklin Park. And so we're working on maybe a pickleball round robin or event prior to. Tyler Schultz has reached out to SIG at the Sport House to get involved in that. And I've talked to some of the pickleball people who sort of control the courts there, I understand. So it looks like we might be able to put something together. So if you play pickleball, get your racket and ball ready. And also, we have a program coming up. Yeah, later. Well, I think it's the 28th of July. Bob Gerst, I thought I saw you here. Bruce, Frank Pritchard, the founder of, creator of pickleball, will be speaking to us. So you get to learn about it before you go play. Operation Harvest, October 8th, big club community event. We need lots of people involved, not only on the day of, but especially the day of, but in other avenues as well. So please have your volunteer hat ready to go and save the date. Looks like we're going to have scholarship dinners returning to the fall, to our fall schedule. Keep that in mind. And November 19th, anybody know what November 19th is? Kevin? Oh, Rotary Auction. I'm glad he knows. He's one of the chairs. So save that date. November 19th. You know, the committee is planning a great evening of food, fun, and nostalgia, plus irresistible items to bid on. And our in-person auction, of course, was interrupted by COVID, but now it's game on. We're back in the game. So please keep that on your calendar. Okay, last item, and we're running up against the clock here. My theme for Rotary this year. So coming up with a theme was a challenge for me. It was nearly a year after I agreed to serve as Rotary president that I finally had the aha moment. First and most importantly, I must give credit to my wife, Gay, who's sitting right down here, who kept using one word to describe everything I was doing related to Rotary. Now, I wasn't sold on it. I thought, yeah. Until I shared the word with Margaret Filkins. And she reacted by saying, it's an action verb. Ooh, action verb, that changes it in my mind. And that was all I needed to hear. An action verb, and that's what Gay had been telling me all the time. Well, listen to your wife once in a while, right? Thank you, Gay. So it has three other words that define it, and I have used them liberally in my remarks today. Rotary ESP, I call it. Energize, socialize, and personalize, which is the most important, I think. So in my mind, and Gay's, it describes what we do as Rotarians. But I do want to thank Kelly Gasling. Are you here, Kelly? Oh, Kelly, thank you. Thank you, Kelly. And her staff for creating and activating the graphic for the theme. I told her I wanted something to energize the club, and I think she got it. Maybe right at the top. Maybe not quite over the top, right at the top. So, Carolyn, are you ready? Just a second. Well, no, we're on, right? So, anybody want to join us? Yeah! Let's rotarize. Energize, socialize, personalize, Rotary ESP. So I can't remember if there's one more thing I have to say. Oh, yes, I do. Committee meetings, racial justice. On Monday, July 11th at Triumph Treatment Center, 4:15 to 5:30. Next week we have Peter Arnold, Yakima Valley Museum, and Peter is here today, checking out the layout. We will be here at the Convention Center. On the 21st, District Governor Carl Ruther, great guy, I've met him, Rotary District 5060, he's going to be speaking here. Ed Bilski, Opioids in Our Communities, also here on the 28th. So, on that very subtle note of introduction for the theme, I pronounce us adjourned.